For this video, we're going to be looking at stuff for the final exam, specifically stuff from Unit 2, interest. So in this problem, we're going to be looking at compound interest. So let's look at the formula for compound interest. Formula for compound interest is S, which is your final amount or your maturity value, equals P 1 plus, and this is where it gets kind of interesting, because with compound interest you have to take your rate and divide by your M, or the number of times that you compound within a given year, and then raise it to the time in years multiplied by the compounding factor M. Okay, so that's how we kind of look at this. So let's start by identifying the different parts in this question. You borrow $13,500. Okay, because it says that's what you borrow, we know this is our principal, at 6.75% PA. Because it has the percent sign, we know it is the rate, compounded annually. Now, because it says annually, we know that our M is 1 for 2 years. So that's our time. How much do you owe? Okay, so it's asking for S at the end of 2 years. And then it says, how much interest must you pay? Now, in order to find interest, we're going to use the exact same formula as we used earlier. The interest is just your full amount that you owe at the end of a certain time, subtracting what you borrow. Okay, so let's start by looking at this formula first. So, S equals, our principal is $13,500. Okay, 1 plus our rate is 6.75%. And we're going to divide it by our M, which is 1. And this is all raised to the time, which is 2, multiplied by our M, which is 1. So we're actually going to put this in the calculator exactly as we see it. So we get out our calculator. Okay, there's a pretty good view of the calculator. 13,500 times 1 plus, we're going to make it into a fraction, 6.75% over 1, and then we hit this little X box button, raised to 2 times 1. So that gives me a final amount of 15,384.0, and this 9 makes it round up into a 1 dirhams. So this is the answer to the first question. Now remember, it also asks about interest. And as we know, the interest is the full amount, 15,384.01, and we are going to subtract the principal, 13,500. Okay, so 15384.01 minus 13,500 gives me a final interest amount of 1,884.01 dirhams. Okay, so that's how we do compound interest. Let's go ahead and look at another problem. Find the accumulated value. Okay, the accumulated value is one of our key words. All that means is they're going to ask for S. And the compound interest, so they're going to want I, earned when investing 1,000 dirhams, okay, that's my P, at 6%, my rate, compounded monthly. So that means that my M is 12. And now it gives us 2 different times. So the first time is 2 years and the second time is 15 years. So we set it up just like we did the last one. S equals my principal, 1,000, okay, 1 plus 6% divided by 12, okay, raised to the 2 times 12. Okay, pretty easy. And what's nice is that the other one will be the exact same formula. So S equals 1,000. 1 plus 6% divided by M. Oh, I'm sorry, M was 12. Raised, and this time it'll be 15 years times 12. Now remember, this is in order to get S. In order to get I at the end of it, you just have to take the full amount that you found and subtract the principal, which is 1,000 dirhams. So let's go ahead and put this in the calculator, and the nice thing is, because the formulas are so similar, we don't have to re-put it in each time. Okay, so 1,000, open parentheses, 1 plus, I'm going to do a fraction, 6% over 12, raised to the 2 times 12. And so we get that the first amount is 1,127.16 dirhams. Now, in order to do the next one, all you have to do is hit the up button. I'm sorry, the over button. Okay, so when you do the over button, instead of doing 2, because that's what's changing, we're going to do 15. And then you hit equal. So we don't have to re-put it in each time. 2,454.09 dirhams. Now likewise, to do the interest, all we have to do is take this full amount and subtract 1,000. So let's go ahead and do that. 1127.16, and we're subtracting 1,000 in principal. And we get that the interest is 127 dirhams and 16 fils. And now the interest for this one would be 2,454.09 minus the 1,000. And we get 1,454.09 dirhams. So here we have the full accumulated value and the interest for both time periods. Okay, let's try another one. Salma deposits 15,000 into a savings account. That's definitely our principal. On March 10th, 1995. Ooh, we've got dates. The account pays 5.9%, that's my rate, compounded quarterly. So my M is 4. There are 4 quarters in a year. What is the amount in her account on September 10th, 1999, if the interest rate stays constant? Okay, well, we're going to start by looking at the number of months. We don't need to do dates on this one because it starts on March 10th and ends on September 10th. So we don't need to look at individual days. We can look at months. Okay, so March 10th, 1995. And we're going to go all the way to March 10th, 1999. Okay, that is 4 years. Okay, now we're going to go to September 10th, 1999. Okay, so that's March. April, May, June, July, August, September. So we know that that's 6 months. We add them together and we find that our time in years is 4 and 6 over 12 years. So we have our principal, we have our rate, we have our M, and we now have our time. So we have enough to go ahead and look at the amount in her account. Now, the amount doesn't mean the interest. It actually is asking for the full maturity value. So we'll go ahead and use that formula. S equals 15,000 1 plus, my rate was 5.9%, divided by my M, which is quarterly, 4. And we're going to raise it to the 4 and 6 over 12 times, excuse me, times 4. Okay, this is going to look really weird in our calculator, but the good news is that it should work out rather well. Okay, 15,000. Open your parentheses. 1 plus fraction, 5.9% divided by 4, raised to. Now this is where you get a mixed number. So in order to get a mixed number, you have to hit the fraction, but you have to hit the shift before it. So shift fraction gives you a mixed number. And now we can do 4 and 6 over 12 times 4. Okay, it's a lot of numbers, and we hit equals, and we get that the amount in her count is 19,523.35 dirhams. The 9 makes the 4 round up. Okay, that was kind of difficult. Let's go ahead and try another one. This is all dealing with compound interest from Unit 2. Ibrahim wants to buy his grandson a Toyota Camry in 4 years. Okay, in 4 years. So we're looking at something for the future. The cost of the car will be, so once again we're looking at the future, 89,000 dirhams. Okay, so this 89,000 isn't our principal. This 89,000 is actually what it will be. So it's going to be our S. We're looking at a different formula in this. Assuming a bank rate of 9.25%, compounded quarterly, so M is 4, how much must Ibrahim put in the bank today? So we're looking for P. Now the formula for P is S divided by 1 plus my rate divided by my M raised to the time multiplied by M. So we've got all the individual parts. Now we need to actually solve it. So we want there to be 89,000 when we're finished. Okay, so we have to do 1 plus my rate is 9.25%, and this is compounded quarterly, so we have to divide by 4. We know that we're looking for 4 years in the future, but once again we have to multiply by 4, which is how many times per year it's compounded. So let's get out our calculator, and we're looking at a fraction to begin with. 89,000 over, we're going to make it parentheses already, 1 plus 9.25% over 4 raised to the 4 times 4. And we should get, at the end, the principal we put in, 61,734.92. And this is in dirhams. Okay, so that's looking at the original value, and that actually ends our topic on compound interest. This was a very long video, but a lot of information.